Imagine having everything. Every city, every mansion, every car, every work of art, every dollar, every country, every secret humanity has ever created. Now imagine realizing there's nobody left to share it with. No audience, no friends, no family, no strangers, no one. Would that still be a dream? Or would it become a nightmare? Let's begin. You wake up one morning. Nothing feels unusual at first. The sunlight still enters through your window. The air feels the same. The city outside seems peaceful, almost too peaceful. You check your phone, no messages, no notifications, no missed calls. Strange, but not alarming. Not yet. You get dressed, walk outside, and that's when you notice it. The silence, no cars, no voices, no footsteps, no distant conversations, no barking dogs, no planes overhead. Nothing. The streets are empty, completely empty. At first, you assume something happened, an evacuation, a disaster, a government emergency. But hours pass, then days, then weeks, and eventually a terrifying possibility becomes impossible to ignore. You are alone. Not alone in your city, not alone in your country, alone on Earth. Every human being has disappeared, except you. What would you do? Most people imagine fear, and there would certainly be fear, but perhaps not immediately, because something else would arrive first. Freedom. Absolute freedom. No schedules, no expectations, no competition, no responsibilities, no one telling you what to do. The entire world suddenly belongs to you. You could walk into any house, drive any car, sleep in any hotel, explore any city. The Louvre, the White House, the pyramids. Every place once protected by rules and borders. Now open. For the first time in human history, everything is yours. And perhaps for a while it would feel incredible. Imagine standing in the middle of Times Square, completely alone. Or walking through an airport with no passengers, no lines, no noise, no waiting. Imagine entering a luxury penthouse and realizing no one will ever ask you to leave. Every door unlocked, every treasure available, every destination within reach. It sounds strangely exciting. Almost like the greatest adventure ever created. And maybe that's what makes this thought experiment so fascinating. Because at first, it doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like freedom. The freedom people spend their entire lives dreaming about. No bosses, no bills, no pressure, no judgment. Only possibility. But then something begins to happen. Not on the first day, not on the first week, maybe not even in the first month. But eventually, a question appears. A small question, a harmless question. And once it enters your mind, it becomes difficult to escape. You stand on top of a skyscraper, looking over an entire city. And suddenly you wonder, who is this for? You drive the fastest car in the world. Who cares? You enter the most beautiful building ever constructed. Who sees it? You achieve something extraordinary. Who knows? And for the first time, you begin to suspect that being the last human may not be a survival problem at all. It may be something far more unsettling. Because in a world where everything belongs to you, something important may already be disappearing. At first, you thought the problem would be loneliness. But loneliness is not what surprises you. After all, you can stay busy. There are still books to read, cities to explore, mountains to climb, movies to watch, secrets to uncover. The world is still full of things, what slowly begins to disappear is something else: meaning. You don't notice it immediately. It happens quietly. One day, you find an expensive sports car, a machine once desired by millions. You drive it across empty highways faster than anyone ever could, and for a moment, it feels incredible. Then a strange thought appears: who am I impressing? The question stays with you. Weeks later, you enter a mansion, a place that once represented success, status, achievement, power. You walk through room after room, admiring everything. Then another question arrives: success compared to whom? You sit in the largest office at the highest floor, looking over an empty city. And suddenly the title, the position, the achievement feels strangely weightless. Because nobody knows you have them. Nobody envies you, nobody admires you, nobody cares. And perhaps that realization reveals something uncomfortable. How much of our lives are built around other people? Think about it. A trophy means something because someone sees it. A reputation exists because someone remembers it. Fame exists because someone recognizes it. Status exists because someone compares without witnesses. Many of the things we chase begin to lose their shape, and then an even stranger question emerges: who are you? Not your job, not your income, not your social status, not your followers, not your achievements. You. Who are you when there is nobody left to describe you? For most of your life, your identity was reflected back to you. Friend, parent, child, partner, colleague, teacher, student, thousands of invisible mirrors, each one helping define who you believed yourself to be. But now the mirrors are gone, and something unsettling happens. You begin to realize how difficult it is to see yourself clearly. Without comparison, without validation, without rejection, without approval. You begin to wonder whether the person you thought you were ever truly existed, or whether much of your identity was simply a response to the people around you. Months pass, perhaps years, and another loss begins to reveal itself. Language. You still speak, at first. You talk to yourself. You narrate your days, you say things out loud. But gradually, the words become less frequent, because language was never meant to live alone. Every sentence was created for another mind. Every story was meant to be heard. Every question was meant to be answered. And now, there is nobody listening. The silence grows deeper, not around you, inside you. And for the first time, you begin to understand something important. The problem was never survival. The problem was meaning. Because food can keep a body alive. Shelter can protect it. The world can provide everything you need. And still, something essential may be missing. But what if that missing thing is not what you think? What if meaning was never hidden in possessions, or achievements, or recognition? What if the disappearance of humanity is forcing you to confront a question that most people spend their entire lives avoiding? Who are you when nobody is watching? Years pass. The cities remain silent. The highways remain empty. The buildings stand exactly where they always stood. And yet, something begins to change. Not in the world, in you. At first, the silence felt unbearable. You filled it with distractions, music, movies, books, projects, exploration. Anything to avoid feeling completely alone. But eventually, even distraction becomes exhausting. And for the first time in your life, there is nowhere left to run. No conversations to hide behind, no reputation to maintain, no image to protect, no audience to impress, only you. And the strange thing about being truly alone is that eventually you stop meeting the world and begin meeting yourself. You begin noticing thoughts you never noticed before, fears, desires, memories, assumptions, entire parts of yourself that were hidden beneath the noise of everyday life. And slowly, a question emerges. Who was I trying to become? For years you chased success, for years you chased recognition, for years you chased goals, dreams, achievements. But now there is nobody left to recognize any of them. And strangely, You are still here, breathing, thinking, existing. Something remains. One evening, sitting beneath a sky untouched by city lights, you notice something. The stars do not care that humanity is gone. The ocean continues moving. The wind continues blowing. The sun continues rising. Reality continues. And for the first time, you begin to feel something unexpected. Not loneliness, not fear, wonder. Because all your life, you assumed the world revolved around human beings, human stories, human achievements, human problems, human desires. But now humanity is gone, and existence itself remains. The forests still grow, the rivers still flow, the stars still burn. As if reality never belonged to us in the first place. As if we were participants, not owners. And that realization changes something. You begin spending less time asking, "What do I want?" and more time asking, "What is this? What is this life? What is this awareness looking through my eyes? What is this mysterious experience of being alive?" And perhaps for the first time, you stop trying to use the world and start listening to it. The silence no longer feels empty. The silence begins to feel alive. And then another possibility appears. A possibility so strange that most people never seriously consider it. Perhaps consciousness is not merely something we possess. Perhaps it is something we participate in. Something larger, something deeper, something that existed long before us and may continue long after us. After all, you did not create the stars. You did not create the oceans. You did not create existence itself. And yet somehow, you are able to experience it, to witness it, to be conscious of it. What a strange gift. What a mysterious thing it is, to be aware at all. And standing alone beneath an infinite sky, you begin to suspect that the greatest mystery was never the disappearance of humanity. The greatest mystery was consciousness itself. The fact that anything is here at all. And perhaps, the question is no longer, can I survive being alone? The question is becoming something else. Something much deeper. If everything I used to call myself disappears, what remains? Imagine standing at the edge of the world. Not because the world is ending, but because everything that once defined your place within it is gone. No society, no reputation, no expectations, no comparisons, no competition, no audience. Just existence itself. For years, you searched for meaning in the places most people search. Achievement, recognition, success, possessions, status, purpose. And perhaps those things mattered. But standing alone beneath an infinite sky, they no longer seem fundamental. Because something surprising has happened. You survived the loss of all of them. The titles disappeared, you remained. The possessions disappeared, you remained. The identity you once defended disappeared, and still, you remained. So what exactly is this you? The question follows you everywhere, through empty cities, across silent oceans, beneath forgotten monuments, and the more you ask it, the stranger it becomes. Because every answer seems incomplete. You are not merely your memories. Memories fade. You are not merely your body. The body changes. You are not merely your roles. Those roles vanished long ago. And yet, something remains aware of all these changes. Something has been watching your entire life. The same awareness that witnessed your childhood, your fears, your victories, your failures, your dreams. The same awareness that is listening to these words right now. And perhaps that awareness is closer to who you are than anything you have ever owned or achieved or become. Years ago, when the world was full of people, you believed you were creating your life, building your future, shaping your reality, manifesting your dreams. And perhaps there was truth in that. Human beings possess a remarkable ability to imagine, to create, to transform ideas into reality. Entire cities began as thoughts, works of art began as thoughts, scientific discoveries began as thoughts. Even the civilization now standing empty around you was once an idea inside someone's mind. But now another possibility appears, a deeper one. What if the ability to create was never entirely ours? What if imagination itself is part of something greater? a gift rather than a possession. You look at the stars, you did not create them. You look at consciousness, you did not create that either. And yet somehow, you participate in both. The universe allowed you to witness it, to experience it, to become aware of it. What an extraordinary mystery. Perhaps that is why, after all these years alone, the feeling of isolation begins to fade. Not because another human appeared, not because the silence ended, but because you begin to understand something. Being alone and being separate are not the same thing. You are still connected to the sky above you, to the earth beneath you, to existence itself, to whatever source gave rise to all of this. Call it nature, call it reality, call it consciousness, call it God. The name matters less than the mystery. And perhaps that is the final lesson of the last human. The world did not lose meaning when humanity disappeared. Meaning was never hidden in the crowd. It was never hidden in status or possessions or recognition. Those things can reflect meaning, but they cannot create it. Meaning begins with awareness, with presence, with the simple miracle of being here at all. And so, standing alone beneath the stars, the last human finally understands. The question was never, can I survive without everyone else? The question was, if everything I used to define myself disappears, will I still know who I am? And perhaps the answer was waiting in the silence all along. And what if all of this happens after we die? What if we are resurrected? Alone, in our own world?